Hi, I'm Shannon Higgins, a core member of the Humanode project, and welcome to this episode of Humanode in Simple Terms. In our last video, we talked about civil attack and defense, and in this episode, I would like to talk a little bit more about biometric identification, one of our key tools behind the defense, and the key to unlocking the future of Humanode. Now, when talking about biometric security, there are two questions that come to mind. One is, how safe is it? The other is, no really, how safe is it? I mean, what if people hack the system and steal your IDs, or spoof the system to create fake IDs? Naturally, I could try to bluff my way through this by giving you all some super complex technical terms that even I don't understand. Then show you 50 different super diagrams to show you how great it is. But instead, let me walk you through some of the basics concerning biometric IDs in simple terms. First, it is important to understand that there are a multitude of biometric IDs that can be used. Commonly used biometric identifiers are the fingerprint, handprint, footprint, face authentication, iris authentication, retina authentication, ear shape authentication, body odor, DNA matching, voice authentication, brain activity as in EEG, neural signature, and so on and so on. But with the understanding that for Humanode, we will most likely start out with a combination of 2 or 3 different biometric modalities, today I would like to go over facial authentication as an example. Okay, I am sure that many of you here have used facial authentication software when using your iPhone or computing device. And although all you see is a little icon popping up with a smiley face and a check mark for when it works, there's actually a whole process going on behind the scenes. First, the attached camera takes several photos of your face. Then it chooses the best image and puts floating points or small dots around distinct characteristics, such as your eyebrows, nose, mouth, chin, and so on. Commonly, 70 points are used to capture the face. And every one of us, besides absolutely identical twins, have unique feature traits. That's why every floating point face map is unique and different from one another. These floating points are then used to crop and normalize the image, and afterwards the map is inserted into a deep neural network, or a DNN. Then, the DNN does some magic, and commonly transforms your face into 128 to 256 numbers that represent your facial traits as coordinates on a 128 to 256 dimensional vector space that is called an embedded template. This embedded template is in turn used as your personal key to sign into your devices, apps, or security systems. The original photos it took to do the calculation for the floating point map are then deleted. And yes, all of this happens in less than a second depending on the device. In Humanode, we are going through a major overhaul of the system, working with some of the leading cryptographers and biometric ID engineers in the world. And yes, I could tell you more about what we are doing, but then I may have to kill you. So I'll leave it for now and we'll save it for a future episode. But for now, what I can say is that in addition to the calculations to determine the personal identifier, we will be using one of the many encryption algorithms to encrypt the biometric data. And naturally, we will erase that data along with everything else, and only operate with so-called ciphertext, which will be stored in a decentralized system, hidden even from the user. And it will almost be impossible to hack. So as far as security is concerned, from the user's perspective, the security is pretty damn tight. I mean, possibly tighter than any existing centralized biometric ID system in existence. And yes, the security will continue to be improved. The main point concerning the biometric identification in the Humanode is that the biometric ID is used to prove that you are a unique human being, and that we value the fact that you are different from everybody else. And more importantly, Humanode does not keep that data to keep a hold on you, or control you, or to use it in a targeted marketing scheme. In fact, your biometric data is not only hidden from you, but it is also hidden from us. All we ever know is that you are a human being. You are different from everybody else, and thus eligible to be a Humanode, thus bringing value to the community and to yourself. And as far as the ID goes, it is only used for a fraction of a second to verify your existence through the search and match operation while you log in. With the basics aside, where things get challenging is, as I mentioned in the last video, is when it comes to people trying to create fake IDs, spoof the system, or try to hack the system using stolen images, deepfakes, and so on. So, just for your information, there are 5 levels of attacks when it comes to trying to fake an ID. Some of them you have probably actually seen them used on TV or in 007 or Mission Impossible movies. Level 1 is a simple paper mask using the high-res photographs, high-res response and challenge videos, and your basic deepfake puppet. Level 2 is commercially available lifelike dolls and humanoid resin, latex, and silicone 3D masks that you could probably buy for under $300. Level 3 is custom-made ultra-realistic 3D masks or wax heads like used in the movies, which would cost you about $3,000 per mask or so. Where it gets tricky is from here. Level 4 is when the attacker decrypts and edits the contents of a 3D face map that contains synthetic data not collected from the session, and fools the server process to respond with a success. And finally, level 5 is when you just take over the video feed of someone and inject previously captured frames or a deepfake puppet that results in the server responding with a success. In order to combat this, Humanode will not just be using advanced face recognition software, but we will be incorporating the highest level of liveness detection available from the get-go. So, what is liveness detection? In simple terms, liveness detection is an AI that determines if the computer is interacting with a live human or not. Meaning, unlike the last meeting that I had with the cryptography team, the system would instantly know if I had a dog sitting at my desk pretending to be me or not. Obviously, depending on the level of data and the technology backing of the AI, and the level of the hardware that the user operates with, there will be weak liveness detections, and those that are ahead of the curve. In reality, although there are liveness detection providers that have bounty programs offering over $100,000 to anyone that can crack their system, and can actually prove that nobody has been able to claim the bounty yet, there are liveness detection providers and services out there that have been hacked using deepfakes in less than 20 seconds. With that in mind, although I am not able to go into details at this moment, I will guarantee our viewers 2 things here. The first is that at Humanode, as we launch, we will only be working with a liveness detection provider that is at the absolute top of the liveness detection hierarchy. And second, although the development is already started, it is that over the next few years, we will be also developing the world's first decentralized liveness detection system, which in turn will be owned by all of the participants of the Humanode network. Naturally, only when we are absolutely confident that we are equal to or able to surpass the security of the provider we work with will we switch over to the system we are developing. As mentioned in previous videos, white papers, and articles, protecting the Humanode system and its users is our top priority, and that this will be an arms race. Which simply means that as we move forward, how we guarantee the security of the system and its users will evolve. So don't be surprised if we announce new and improved security details down the line and the technologies we use now become obsolete. If you're a regular user of Humanode, rest assured that your biometric data will be secured. And if you're a researcher or developer of biometric modalities, liveness detection, or enhanced network securities, don't be shy and feel free to contact us. We would love to pick your brain. Thank you again for joining us for another episode of Humanode in Simple Terms. And see you next time. Ta-ta for now.